But look at the Apostle Paul and the case he makes to the New Testament church that you're already dead. You're going to physically die someday, but look at Paul's argument that you're already dead. Romans 6:3. Do you not know that as many of us as were baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into His death? That's a simple one. When you went down into not only into the waters of baptism, but when you went into the experience of being baptized into Christ, that's the immersion of who He is. You know what you were immersed in? Not the walking around Jesus, not the healing the 5,000 Jesus, not the walking on water Jesus. Those are wonderful stories. What you were immersed in was Jesus crucified. I went into Him crucified. I experienced what He experienced. Look at verse 10, same chapter. The death that He died to sin once for all. But the life that He lives to God. Likewise, you also reckon or consider yourself dead to sin, but alive to God. Look at that. Consider yourself dead to sin. Whose job is it for you to consider yourself dead to sin? It's yours. This is your luxury. You get to do this, and you should do this. 2 Corinthians 5. This one's one of the more famous ones. 2 Corinthians 5:14. For the love of Christ compels us, because we judge this way. If one died for all, then all died. Look at that. Christ's love has convinced me of one fact. If God died for all, everyone must have died in Jesus. That means I died in Jesus. I need to experience that, understand that. In fact, that chapter goes on to say I need to reconcile myself to that fact if I want to be conformed to His death. Galatians 2:20. This is one of my favorite ones. Most everybody in this room probably has this one memorized. Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in my flesh, well, I live that by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave Himself for me. Look at that. My flesh is still alive. But my old man, he's dead. I am crucified. This is such a powerful word in the Greek. It's used in perfect tense. I am crucified with Christ. Am crucified, perfect tense word in the Greek. Perfect tense, that which happened in the past, but has present and endless effects. Past, present, future. It happened. It's still finished. It ever will be finished. Remember when Jesus said, "It is finished" on the cross? Perfect tense. It is finished. I finished it today. It's finished for you 2,000 years later. It'll be finished 10,000 years into the future. I am crucified means I was crucified when He was. I'm still crucified now. I shall ever be crucified. I need not say, "Hey, Lord, re-crucify me today." Re-crucify me? How many times did Jesus die to sin? According to Romans 6. Once. How many times did you die to sin? Once. You've been crucified with Him. Realize it. Let that make you conformable to His death. And then Colossians chapter 3, Paul says this. Colossians chapter 3, verse 2. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth, because you died, and your life is hid with Christ in God. Look at that. You died, and your life is hid with Christ in God. Now, what do I mean by being conformed to His death? I mean starting to live out the fact that I am not who I used to be. Not go die, but start to live out the fact that I am not who I used to be. The old me is dead. Say, "Pastor, how am I supposed to live that out?" Reckon yourself dead. Romans 6, consider yourself dead. No one can do it but you. This is why we go over it and over it and over it and over it, because set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. If you set your mind on things of the earth, you're not going to be convinced you died and your life is hid with Christ in God. Because if you set your mind on the things of the earth, you're going to think earthly. And when you think earthy, you're going to think the way you thought before you met Jesus. You're going to think according to the system of the world. And it's going to be hard for you to be convinced that you died. So set your mind. I don't mean just be heavenly minded. I mean, look at who you are in Him, recognize your death in His death, and then rest in that reality. This is conformed to His death.